Hey guys, today we're doing chapter 13, lesson 7, area and the distributive properties. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. If you look at your draw it part of it, you see this lovely 10 by 10 grid with this shape here. So let's look at the shape and see what the area is. It has 6 rows and 6 columns and 5 rows. So if we multiply that together, we would come up with 30 square units because we know area is length times width. So length and width, we had 6 and 5, so it would be 30 square units. So what it wants us to do now is to shade more squares so the length is increased by 2. So here's 6, so we need to shade 2 more here. And then come it down. We don't want to change the width, it said. So we want to leave it. So this is another thing, and this is going to be the rectangle B. Okay, so we labeled it. We've made it go a little bit bigger. What is the area of this one? We had 2, and the width stayed the same, so it would be 2 times 5, which would equal 10 square units. Okay, so now the last thing that it wants us to do is add the areas of the rectangles A and B. So we figured out this area for the first area, which was A, we figured out was 30. For B, we figured out was 10. So the area of the new new rectangle is actually 40 square units. So if we took and we said, okay, I'm going to just do the whole thing and not worry about A and B. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, and 5. 8 times 5 is 40. So it equaled the same. Okay, so it is the same thing. We just broke it down a little bit. So that's how we do the distributive property. That's what we're talking about, is doing the distributive property. We break the units down to make it a little bit simpler for us to do. So if we look at this, we have a 12 length and a 7 width. Well, we're not good with our 12s yet. We're getting there, but we're not as good. So let's break this down to a little bit easier. We can make it 10 units here. So we can make this 10 and this 2. Doesn't that equal? This is a 10. And this is 2. So we have A and we have B. Okay, so it's the same thing. So we're taking the 12 and we're making it 10 plus 2. Okay, so we broke it apart because we know our 10s really well and we know our 2s really well. So let's find the area of each smaller one. So if this one is 10, the width stayed the same. So we had 10 times 7 as our first one. That's our A. We're going to add the other one, so we have 2 and 7, 2 times 7, which is the B one. So we know 10 times 7 is 70. We know 2 times 7 is 14. Then we add them together, so our total area would be 84 square units. So we're breaking apart a bigger number, making it a little bit better to where we can do it easier, 10 and 2, and then being able to add them together at the end to equal our actual area. Okay, so that's what we're doing. It's called the distributive property. We're decomposing something. So let's talk about it. Refer to the second activity that we just did. If you decompose 12 into 9 and 3 instead of 10 and 2, how would that have affected the result? Well, let's see. Let's do 9 and 3 then. We know 9 would be the first one, and we would multiply that by 7. And then we had 3, and we multiplied that by 7. Okay, well, 9 times 7 is 63. And 3 times 7 is 21. We add those together, it would be 84. Did it change? No. The answer would still be the same. Okay, so it would still be 84 square units no matter if we did it this way or did it the way that we actually did it. How can the distributive property help you find the area of rectangles with greater numbers? You can break those numbers down into easier numbers to deal with. You can break larger numbers down, which is decompose, into smaller numbers that are easier to work with. Okay, so decomposing those and using the distributive property, you can break that bigger number down into making it a little bit easier to work with, okay? So go ahead and get started on independent practice. If you have any questions, please let me know.